and we're going to do a little meditation in heart bench. I don't know if you're familiar with heart bench, but you can look and see how I'm going to set it up. So if you have two blocks, one block goes right behind your heart. Now, for me and my anatomy, that block is lower than the block that my head's going to rest on. So my setup's going to be something like this. My head's going to go on the highest, and my heart is going to go on the lowest. You might be able to go higher on the block that's going to go on your heart, and you might be able to set up like this. And Sue, for you, using a pillow, you're going to put the pillow or two pillows behind your back, and your head is going to rest on the block. So for everybody, this setup is a little bit different because all of our bodies are a little bit different. But what we want to do is be able to open our chest, and your legs can go, and just so you're going to fiddle with it a little bit. That's what I'm suggesting. And your legs are going to either go to, here, I'll show you, either to the outside of your mat, and you're going to touch your knees. This may be the most comfortable, or you're going to have your legs out like that, or you're going to be Supta Baddha Konasana legs. So fiddle with this and get yourself into a position where we're opening our hearts, okay? It's called heart bench. So take a moment and fiddle with this to see what works, and get your blocks and or pillows kind of in the right position for you. And this is a restorative pose, but it's also in yin yoga a fairly common way of starting your practice. We typically go into child's pose. This is really just another way of starting our practice because it really makes us focus on our breath. Like I think my block is going to come a little bit further down. So you want your block kind of right where your bra strap or the back of your bra is. So fiddle around. And again, the most comfortable leg position would be feet wide at the edge of your mat, knees touching. So that's one. Legs straight out is another. Or Supta Baddha Konasana, legs, soles touching. Your arms should be extended, maybe not straight out to either side, maybe more at a 45-degree angle from your body, palms facing up to receive. And we're going to stay here for some minutes because I want you to start your breath. Notice your breath. Exhale completely, drawing your belly button to your spine. And then inhale, noticing that your breath is coming into your belly and then up into your lungs and fully expanding your ribs. And this heart bench really allows us to examine our breath. So take a few moments and just notice your breath. If you need to make any adjustments
you want to feel that your neck is supported. You want to feel an openness, that your shoulders are almost able to wrap around the pillow or the block. That this pose is actually opening your chest and opening your heart. Continue to breathe. Start your Ujjayi breath if you haven't already, and let's begin to count our intakes and our exhales, and try to make it so that you're inhaling and exhaling on the same number of counts. Maybe it's 3 or 4 or 5 with Ujjayi breath. If your mind begins to wander, bring it back to counting your breath. And 2 more rounds of breath. Drawing your belly button to your spine and come up on your elbows. Raise your head up, come up slowly and come out of this shape and join me on your mat in a comfortable seated position. Could be hero's pose, cross-legged pose. Bring your hands to your knee and extend the crown of your head up to the ceiling. Draw your shoulders up to your ears and down your back. Roll them up to your ears and down your back. One more time. Really accentuate this. Now roll your shoulders in the opposite direction, up to your ears, roll forward and down. back, up, forward, down. One more time. Back, up, forward, down. Drop your chin to your chest. Look up at the ceiling. Sitting up tall, chin to chest. Exhale. Inhale, look up at the ceiling. One more time, chin to chest. Inhale, look up at the ceiling. Draw your left ear to your left shoulder, not your shoulder to your ear, dropping your shoulders down. Look up. Exhale, drop your right ear to your right shoulder. Your shoulders are down. Inhale, look up. Left ear, left shoulder. Exhale. Look up. Right ear, right shoulder. Exhale, really stretching your neck out. Look up. One more time on each side. Now bring it all together, chin to chest, left ear, left shoulder back, right ear, right shoulder. Exhaling as you come around slowly, really stretching out your neck. Look back. Exhale as you come around. And in the opposite direction. If your shoulders are creeping up, lower them down. And back to center. Stick your hands out in front like you're stopping somebody. Open and close your fingers 30 times quickly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Place your hands on the floor in front of you, fingers pointing towards each other. Now point your fingers towards your body and try to stretch out your wrist. Now wrists facing each other, palms facing north and south. Good. Bring your hands together, interlace your hands and reverse. Draw your arms up over your head. Bend to the right, long torso, hinging at the hips only. Come back up. Opposite side, sitting up tall, just hinging at your hip. Come back up. Look up, reach up. Good job. Grab your right wrist with your left hand and now give an assist to come over, really stretching out that right side, sitting up tall, straight on your sit bones. Look up, reach up, and grab your left wrist with your right hand and draw it over, just hinging at your hips and really pull it over. Good. Good job. Look up and come down. Good. Roll your shoulders out, backward and forward, backward and forward. We're going to start practice with the sound of one Om. Bring your hands to Namaste. Look at your fingertips. Draw your chin back. Sit up tall. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. Come to tabletop pose on your mat, noticing your alignment. Your wrists are right under your shoulders. Your hips are on top of your knees. Sometimes it's easy to look into your little box on the screen to see if you're aligned. I actually find this helpful.
Draw your shoulders into their shoulder blades. So you're not arching up. Your back is flat. This is the strong tabletop position, okay? Cat cow. Look up, cow, drop your head, tuck your chin, cat. Inhale, cow. Exhale into cat, really swiveling your hips. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Inhale, cow. Bring your right hand in front to maybe the front edge of your mat and bring your left toes behind on your mat. So we've got cupcake hands, toe on mat in the back, and now lift hand and leg. Breathe, stretch, kicking the back wall, extending your front arm. Bring that hand down. Cupcake your left fingers on your mat. Block and touch your right toes behind you. Breathe here, strong. Now raise both hand and foot, stamping the wall behind you. Breathe, extend. Lower down. Good job. Cupcake right, left toe back, come up. Breathe and bring that elbow to your left knee, crunch. Extend again. Crunch on the exhale. Extend one more time and crunch one more time. And lower down. Cat cow. Make any adjustment that you need to and extend that left palm up, cupcake, right toe back, come up, crunch in, left elbow to right knee, extend it out, exhale, crunch, extend out, exhale, crunch, and lower that knee down. Come back to puppy pose. So place your forearms on the mat and extend back to child's pose. Now come forward, roll forward and try to bring your chin to the mat and roll back to a child's pose and come forward. Try to bring your chin to the mat. Maybe it meets, maybe it doesn't, and roll back. Place your forehead on the mat and roll your forehead back and forth. Your toes can be tucked or flat on the mat, either way. Roll out your forehead. Breathing the whole time. And come up into downward facing dog. Really bend your knees a lot as you come up slowly, using your abdominals to draw up, maybe making an adjustment with your feet and pedal out your feet. Dig your fingertips into the mat. Make a strong, not a cupcake, but maybe the palms are raised up off the mat a little bit, really asking your fingertips to do some of the work of this downward dog. Sue, in your case, you can put your knees on the mat if that's too much on your wrist. And tiptoe forward to the top of your mat. On your tippy toes. See if you can stay on your tippy toes as you come up on your fingertips. Stay on your tippy toes and see if you can come to a halfway lift on your tippy toes. Come down, it's a little balance. Halfway lift again on your tippy toes and fold down. Mountain pose, look up. Reach up, fold down. Bringing your belly button to your spine as you come up halfway, straight back. Plug your shoulders into their sockets. Fold down. Exhale, inhale, all the way up, mountain pose. Look up, fold down. Step back to
high plank. If this is too much, place your knees on the mat. Lower down halfway and come up into upward facing dog. Perhaps your knees are lifted, maybe they're not. And come back through knees on mat to downward facing dog. Take one big step forward with your right foot. Left foot meets your right foot. Halfway lift, straight back. Fold down. Mountain pose, come up, look up, fold down. Notice if your knees are locked, unlock them, fold down, halfway lift. Step back to high plank, maybe going through knees down on mat. Breathe in. Look to see that your back is straight. You don't want your butt up and you don't want your butt sinking. You want to make sure your body is straight. Lower down just halfway, tucking your elbows and come up to upward facing dog. And knees on mat, roll back and come up to a bent knee downward facing dog. Breathe in and out. Breathe in and out. Now step forward, a big step with your left foot. Have your right foot meet it. Come up halfway, straight back. Inhale, exhale, forward fold. Inhale, mountain, look up. Dive down on an exhale. Inhale and step back to high plank. Maybe your knees are on the mat, maybe they're raised. Lower down halfway. Come up to upward facing dog and downward facing dog. Breathe. Stamp the wall behind you with your right foot. You raise it up. Look at your hips. You can look back there. Come up on your left toes as high as you can. Make sure your hips are parallel. So your hips not fanned open yet. Bend your right knee at 90 degrees. So now the sole of my right foot is facing the ceiling. And now fan open your hips. See if you can draw that right ankle towards your left bum. Breathe here and lower that foot to the mat. Breathe. Now stamp the wall behind you with your left foot. Looking at your posture, come up on your right toes. You want equal pressure in both of your hands. So if this is too much, go down on your knee and fan open your hip and bring that left heel towards your right bum. And bring that foot to the mat. Good. Come down on your knees. Tabletop. Plug your shoulders in. Make this a strong tabletop. Draw your abdominal muscles in and up. Really notice what that feels like. And very slowly, if it's there for you, come up into downward facing dog. Step your right foot forward, left to meet it, and come up into chair pose. So I think we did this last week. Placing a block between the top of your thighs and chair is really helpful. Really draws the top of your thighs together, which is the sensation that we want. Now chair pose, your toes can be together or they can be hip width distance. The point is you want to sink your hips down like you're really getting in that chair. Look down. Can you see your toes? You want to be able to see your toes and not have your knees covering your toes. That's one sure indication that your hips are in the right position. Come up into cactus arms, drawing your shoulder blades back. That's sort of reminiscent to how we felt in heart bench. And if it's there for you, bring your triceps around your ears. So this is chair, super active pose. Breathe and sink. 2 more breaths. Now bring I'm going to remove my block. I'm going to bring my hands to heart and I'm going to twist to the right. So hook your left elbow around your right knee. Try to stack your shoulders, drawing the crown of your head forward. Breathe here, sink your hips further. If you can, open your arms. Come back up to chair and up to mountain pose. Woo, that's an intense little series there, but it's really good for you. I'm gonna try to get my screen just right. Okay, let's do that whole chair on the left. So I'm gonna put my block back between my upper thighs, draw those thighs together. Very active. Can you see your toes? Sink your hips down. And come up to cactus. Really open up your chest and bring your arms up. Wrap around your ears and breathe. And see if you can sink a titch lower. 2 more breaths. Remove the block and twist left, hooking your right elbow around your left knee, using that as leverage to stack your shoulders. Sink your hips, look at your knees. If your right is popping out, draw it back. And come up to mountain pose. Whew. Take a drink. And step back into warrior 2. So my right foot is in front, my toe is pointing right ahead at 12 o'clock. Left leg is back behind. Try to get it as low as you can. So try to scooch that foot forward and make sure your back leg is really strong. So you're digging the blade edge of that back foot into your mat. Your hips are pointing forward. So see your alignment. Put your hand on your sacrum. You don't want your booty popping out and you don't want it tucked forward either. You want it, mine is neutral. That's what's comfortable for me. But getting your right hip back and your left hip forward, that's where we want to be. It's super active. Come up to cactus arms, looking straight ahead, and draw your arms up overhead to warrior 1. Breathe here. Open up to warrior 2. So you can make a slight adjustment with your back foot if feeling that more at 90 degrees is comfortable, good. Stretch your arms out in opposite directions. Really try to touch the wall. Reverse your warrior. Look up at your right thumb. And now place your right arm on your thigh and come up to side angle. Now another way of doing side angle is placing a block right on the inside of your right foot. And so play with this, see what works best for you. Do you get a greater side body stretch like that? Or with arm on thigh? So if your arm's on your thigh, it's lightly resting there. It's not dumping into that. And you want to make sure you don't have a lot of wrinkles in your waistline. So you're there and then extend over, draw that tricep close to your ear and breathe. And come up. Now come around for a wide leg fold. So my toes are facing one another. My hands are on my hips. Look up and come down halfway, drawing the crown of your head towards the front of the room like you are when we come up for a halfway lift. So we're halfway folded here. And now come all the way down. Your crown of your head is now
drawing towards the floor. Your hands are right underneath your shoulder, or you can clasp them and bring them up overhead. I like to place my hands on the mat and bend my right knee and extend my left toes up to the ceiling. That really accentuates this stretch for me. I come up on my hands and then I roll over, bending my left leg, extending my right toes up to the ceiling, come back up to halfway fold, halfway lift, come up all the way. Point your left toes to the back of the mat and come up into warrior legs on this side. So get yourself set up, look at your hips, look at the wall in front of you. Can you draw your left hip back and your right hip forward, placing your hand on your sacrum? Where's your pelvis bone? Is it neutral? Your shoulders are right over your hips. We're trying to get those hips facing that wall. Sink into your front knee, dig into your back foot, come up to cactus arms, and then slowly bring your triceps to around your ears and sink into this. Breathe. Come into warrior two. Stretch your arms out in opposite directions, making sure they're parallel with one another. Reverse your warrior. Look up at your left thumb and come into side angle pose. Whatever variation worked for you before, do it again. So we're side angle. You can look up at your right thumb. Breathe and sink into this. And draw it overhead for extended side angle. Lightly touching your forearm on your thigh if that is the position that you're in right now, or you can have hand on block. Breathe here and come back up. Point your toes now. We were in wide leg fold. Now we're going to go into goddess. So point your toes to opposite sides of the mat. You want to look at your knees. They're over your ankles and they're not caving in. So if they're caving in, draw them back with your hands. Get your pelvis so it's facing the floor, neutral pelvis. Come up with cactus arms. And we could do W's. Kind of, I don't know, slinky. Breathe in. Exhale. And sink. Good job. Come up to stand. Shift your front toe. Now my right toe is facing the front of my mat. And come back on your left toe. We're going to come into a crescent lunge. So a lot of times we do this from a downward dog position. We're doing it from a standing position. So look at your alignment. This is a little bit of a balance. So you want to have your feet hip width distance apart so that you've got that balance. Come up on your left toes and come into crescent lunge, maybe halfway up and then all the way up. Arms up overhead, triceps wrapping your ear. I like to kind of twist my hands so my pinkies face one another. For me, that gives me, that helps me get my shoulders, I think, into a better position. Breathe here, engage your abdominals, draw your belly button up and in, draw your hands to your chest in prayer, and twist to the right, hooking your left elbow around your right knee for leverage to stack your shoulders. Draw your head forward to the front of the room and breathe. Come back up.
Raise your arms up. Good deal. And step that foot forward and shake out your legs a little bit. You might need to get a little, I don't know, get your muscles moving in a different direction. And now we're gonna do that same sequence only on the other side. I'm gonna face the back of my mat. So my left toes are forward, 12 o'clock. I'm coming up on my right toes at the back of my mat, getting my hips, my feet hip width distant, checking out my hips. Are they going in the right direction? Maybe I can scooch my toes forward a little bit and come a little bit deeper into this and try to come up higher on my back toes. See if that's there for you. Breathe here. Draw your arms perhaps parallel to the floor and then up. Engaging your abdominals, sinking into this. Bring your hands to heart and twist to the left. Hooking your right elbow around your left knee. Stack your shoulders. Really, I'm pressing hard into my hands to try to lift my waist off of my thigh. I don't want that, I don't want the two to really have contact. Breathe here. One more breath. And come up to Crescent Lunge. And step forward and shake out those legs again. Good. Let's do some balance poses. You know, I love that. Let's come right into eagle on the right. So come into chair legs and wrap your right leg around your left and your right arm under your left. Bring your elbows up in line with your shoulders and sink. Breathe. Straighten your back. One more breath. And come out of it. Chair legs, eagle on the left, wrapping opposite leg, opposite arm. Flex your raised toes if they're not around your shin and sink. Breathe. Find a drishti point. One more breath. And come out of it. Good. Let's do another little series. Bring your right knee up in line with your hip. Place your right hand on your knee and draw it open to the right and your left hand out to the left. Stand tall. Unlock your standing leg. Draw that knee back to center. And slowly kick back for airplane. Bring your pinkies together behind your back. Up dog in your chest. And place your right foot on the mat. Good job. Raise your left knee up to hip height. With your left hand, draw it over to the left and your right arm out to the right. Stand tall, gaze over your right thumb. Unlock your standing leg. Come back to center. And slowly, like going through molasses, kick back for airplane. Your raised leg, try to get it up parallel to your back and really stamp the wall behind you with that raised foot. One more breath. And bring that foot to the mat. Good job. Now we're gonna do my favorite pose. We're gonna do half moon. So get a block and we'll start with our right foot down. You can place that block right underneath where your shoulder will be. So it should be really very close to your foot, which is at true north. So really feel that foot on the mat. Raise your toes up. Feel all four corners of that foot on the mat. That's really strong. And you want your hand to go down on a block right underneath that shoulder. And slowly raise your left leg. You want it to be straight. Flex your toes so they are facing the wall. My wall is on my left. And bring your hand up and you want to stack your shoulders. And maybe you can look up at your raised hand. Breathe and come out of it. Good job. And now we're going to do same thing on the other side. So look at your alignment, get yourself set up, and when you're ready, just come up into this. Breath is important. Unlock your standing leg and draw that leg up and stack your shoulders. And bring your foot to the mat. So in the spirit of heart openers, dancer is another heart opener. And I think we've practiced a couple different ways of doing dancer. So the most common way is you grasp, in this case, your right ankle with your hand so that your thumb is pointing up. Your knees start together. You raise your arm up overhead and you hinge forward, but you want to keep your shoulders parallel. So there's that way. The other way, which I think in some ways, I think I've said this before, for me, it has more integrity. It's actually grabbing that ankle with both hands, right? So my shoulders are really going down my back, and then I hinge forward. Using my ankles pulling against my hands are pulling against that ankle as I hinge forward. This way, my heart is really opening. And breathe. And bring your foot to the mat. So either way is fine, but I think in the spirit of heart opening, that double hand seems to, I don't know, it works better for me. I'm also trying to keep that raised foot. I'm so pigeon-toed, I try to keep it straight as opposed to kind of flopping over to the side. So try that. Just play with that a little bit. Bend your standing leg, give a little bend to that, and really try to open your heart. And come out of it. Good job. Come to a seated position on your mat. We're just going to do a little bit of boat work. So you can put your hands behind your thighs. You can put your elbows on the mat. You can come into full boat. Lower down, hover, come up to high boat. Lower down, really engage your abdominals. Draw that belly button to your spine. Look at your toes. Come up, high boat. Low boat, exhale, flutter kick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come up to high boat and bring your feet to the mat. Good job. We're gonna, let's do another
heart opener. So we would, in prep for back bending, which is a heart opener, we sometimes do camel. So camel is, for some people it can be really an intense pose, but I wanna walk you through it so that there's a way of doing camel where you can get the benefits without getting the kind of the neck crunch weirdness. So put your hands on your back like you're putting them in your pant pockets, right? So your fingers are facing down. Your hips are right on top of your knees, so look down, make sure that means that your knees are hip width distance apart. Your toes are flat or whatever variation of flat your toes have back there. And draw your elbows together, right? So my shoulders are down my back, my elbows are really drawing them together. This is reminiscent of that heart bench, right? Look straight ahead. Make sure you're not pushing your pelvis out. Your pelvis is neutral at this point. And you want to raise the middle of your chest to the ceiling. So just bring your chest up. It's like there's a bar going right across your back, and you want to lift up and over that bar, right? So however far you can go, good. Bringing that chest up and your back up and over that bar. Now maybe you can go down and grab your ankles. That's pretty extreme. So I would just stay here, looking up, breathing, up and over. Your core is super engaged and come out of it. Do a couple cat-cows as a counter stretch. So cat, cow, cat, cow. And let's do that one more time. So hands in pockets, imaginary pockets. Draw your elbows together, chest up to the ceiling, look up and over that bar across your back, and breathe. And come out of it, cat-cow. And come onto your back, and we're going to come into a back bend really of your choice. So I don't know if wheel is in your practice. If it is, you can do that at any point. We're going to do 3 back bends. I'll do bridge. You can also do supported bridge using a block underneath your sacrum, or you can rest in Supta Baddha Konasana. So your choice, whatever works for you today is good. So I'll walk you through bridge. Bridge, your toes are at true north, facing the front of your mat. Your arms are solid on the mat, your whole arm. So your feet are strong, your arms are solid. We're going to use our feet and our arms to lift up our hips and breathe. Draw your knees towards one another. Breathe. We'll stay here for 3 more breaths. Breathe. And lower down. Now, if you're in supported bridge, that's fine. The block can be at whatever setting is most comfortable for you. I would go as high as you can. And maybe even for a breath or 2, you're going to lift your hips up off of your block, just to challenge yourself a little bit. So graze the back of your heels with your fingers if you're in bridge. Arms flat and strong. Feet strong. Up we go for 5 breaths. Try to unclench your butt muscles and draw your knees towards one another. One more breath.
lower down, windshield wiper your legs back and forth. One more back bend. This is the back bend of your choice. If wheel is in your practice, well, you can also do wheel prep. So in wheel prep, your hands go behind you, so my fingers are facing my hips. My elbows are facing the ceiling. My knees are just as they are in bridge, and you can come up to like that. That's as far as I can go in wheel, and it's super challenging, but it's good to practice. It's good to push yourself a little bit without injuring yourself, obviously. So if you want to play with wheel, you can also just go up on the crown of your head, but only do it if you really feel confident in that, and because it can mess up your neck, and we don't want that. So let's just come up one more time in bridge. Breathe. We'll stay here for 5 breaths. One more breath. And lower down to Supine Twist, the soles of your feet together, one hand on your heart and one hand on your belly. Now bring your right ankle to your left knee. We're going to do a figure 4 hip opener. So right ankle on left knee, and now bring your hands, grasp around your left thigh and draw that thigh towards you. Push your right knee away with your right elbow. Your head can be down or up, whatever works, and breathe into this. Draw that knee a little bit closer to you. You should feel this in your right hip. And lower your feet to the mat. Take a breath in and out and switch. Left ankle on right knee. Clasp your hands around your right thigh. Draw it to your body and press your right knee away with your right elbow. Your left knee away with your left elbow. And breathe. And bring your feet to the mat. Rock and roll to a seated position. Extend your left leg long and bring your right leg over your left. So your right foot is now parallel to your left knee for Lord of the Fishes. Sit up strong and now bring your left elbow to the outside of your right knee. Place your right hand behind you. My fingers are facing the wall behind me, and gently twist to your right. Breathe, extend, exhale, and twist deeper. Slowly drawing your neck to look to the wall behind you. Breathe, extend, sit tall, exhale, twist. One more. And unwind. Place that foot on the mat. Draw your arms up overhead. Forward fold. Maybe you can grab the soles of your feet with your arms. You want to bring your lower back towards your knees, not rounding. So your shoulders are plugged into their sockets. You're drawing that lower back forward. Your knees can be bent, and breathe into this. Come up, raise your arms up again, look up, and now draw your your left foot over your right leg with your right leg straight out in front. Gotta get mine a little straighter. My left foot is right parallel to that right knee. Draw your right elbow to the outside of your left knee. Sit up tall. Use your hand behind you to get your back really straight and gently start twisting to the left. On your inhale, extend up. On your exhale, twist deeper. And slowly start getting your vision towards the wall behind you. Sit up tall and come out of it. Good. Raise your arms up to the ceiling and once again, forward fold, drawing your lower back forward. Shoulders down your back. Breathe into this. Grab your block and come into waterfall. So place the block right underneath your sacrum, and it should feel like your feet just pop up. Your shoulders are firmly in the mat. Look up at your toes. Widen your toes. See how far they can, how wide they can go. It's real yogi toes. And then maybe think of 10 things that you're grateful for. Gratitude is such a powerful, beneficial emotion. Slowly roll out of this, remove your block, come down to your back, draw your right knee into your chest, and supine twist, draw that knee over to the left, extend your right arm out long, look over your right thumb. Try to stack your hips. Draw that knee back into your chest and switch. Draw your left knee in, draw it over to your right. Extend your left arm out long, look over to your left thumb. Breathe. Roll out of this. Bring both knees into your chest. Roll up into a tight ball. Rock your lower back on your mat, giving your back a little massage. And thank yourself for making your way to your mat today as you expand out into Shavasana for your rest. Bring some movement into your fingers and toes. And roll onto your side, cradling your head with your arm into a fetal position, and take a few breaths here. And make your way with your eyes closed up into a comfortable seated position. Sit up tall. Bring your hands to heart. We'll end practice with the way we began, with the sound of one Om. Breathe in and out. Breathe in. Bring your thumb knuckles to your forehead. We look up. The light in me honors the light in you. Together we bow and say, Namaste, Namaste.